Hello, and welcome to the show. That's Trump taking back what was taken from them many years ago. I am not even looking at the market. Well, maybe he's not, but we are. US markets are in free fall. The Dow plunged 400 points. NASDAQ nosedived into correction territory. Tech stocks taking a absolute beating. They've had their head kicked in. The trade war roller coaster through another loop, and everybody's vomiting as Trump hits pause on tariffs for Mexico and Canada. But what's next? Who's next? And just when you thought AI was the golden goose, Marvel says not so fast, slashing expectations. NVIDIA dragged down Broadcom also, and AMD in the process. But wait, Broadcom's earnings are out. The stock is rallying. Is this a turnaround play or just another stock about to get its head kicked in? And speaking of earnings, LivePerson just dropped their numbers. We broke it all down in a special report over on Rocky Outcrop Show. The good, the bad, and the boardroom battle for profitability. Don't miss it. Link will be on at the end of the show. But bloody heck, what a good blooming well show it was, by the way. Oh my goodness, we are. We're a whole lot closer, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. We're going to dive into the charts in a minute. Thank you very much, Karen. I appreciate that donation. We are on the road to good times there. The goal is 1 out of 50, only 49 left. Absolutely excellent. So we're all live and ticking. Everybody is here, loving the show. Give me confirmation in the chat box. Once upon a time, everybody lived happily ever after. In between, there was trade spotting, and we absolutely killed it. Yes, we did. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, the charts, there's a number of different ones to look to. Here's the heat map. There's everybody getting absolutely deep fried. There's Trump. He should win easily. He did. Price action on the American markets has been horrendous since Trump's victory. Price action slipped below the 50 simple here. This is a 24-hour chart. At that point, 200 period moving average was very much in there, in the distant horizon. Well, we've now arrived, ladies and gentlemen. Price action wicked below it, closed above it. That comes in at 5732 spot 31. This was the short trade that we suggested. You know, put your entry where your stop is. So you could have had it tighter than that. 33 to 1 if it goes all the way down. Why would it go all the way down? All the way down here. Why would that happen? Especially with this man. This man in charge he should win easily, but he's not even looking at the markets. We're looking at the markets thinking if it continues, it could be absolutely terrible for American markets. Absolutely terrible. This would need a serious hit to the big companies that underpin so much of the recent growth that we've seen in the markets recently. So you'd be looking at things like Microsoft, which itself is actually doing not so bad. Tested this downward sloping support line, managed to come in a couple of different times, putting in bullish divergence, dropped down in the 4-hour time frame. You can see that clear. You've got secondary and primary divergence. You've got that price action spreading to the top side. 50 simple is the target, and we spoke about a trade there on say bitsy teeny weeny time frames, and you had this little bit of a area to fill. It did so very, very fantastically. Price action reason to the upside. Spoke about that on Discord. Loads of money available to people, but why are we talking about SPY? Why is it going to go down? We had this trade to the top side, had to close out of that. What was a golden pocket because, well, we got it in around 4638 or something. That was where the stop was set. Price action slipped back down again. You've got these fair value gaps that it may well test back to the top side of, and there's obvious opening gap here, obviously visible gap in the charts. It could actually slip up again. Trump might save the day. He may well do so, but ahead of that, there is this obvious danger, because if prices slip back down again, why are you giving me... There we go. If they do, where might they go to? Well, ladies and gentlemen, absolutely, here's a long side trade, right? That could take advantage of the fact that price action losing 200 period moving average. We're looking at futures now. Bear this in mind, we're looking at futures, 24-hour chart, futures. Price action could actually come in and give you a really close stop to a potential entry. That might likely work out as a good trade if this continues to the bottom, right? Which might do, because if you look left, you see there's a visible gap on the charts there. It would close on futures at 5634, right? That would be a really good entry. You could have your stop just below, because it'd be beyond the 50% retracement. It'd be below the close of that gap, and there'd likely be, you know, really tight stop. If it's wrong, price action maybe comes a little bit further down. You could try it again, and then you wouldn't cost you very much, right? Keep the cost of the trade really, really low, and then get high probability of success. Get your stop out of profit quickly. Look at the 50 simple up here. If price action just is about 236, you get that stop back up of a 200 period moving average. You'd be looking at being in profit. And Trump might save the day because he's paused those tariffs, and it doesn't look like he's ever going to follow through on them seriously. There'll always be delays. There'll always be exemptions, and it might just be your lucky day, Canada, Mexico, or whoever it is that's next on the chopping block. Talking about chopping blocks, LivePerson, post-market. Yesterday, everybody was a little bit scared. If you put it onto the 24-hour time frame, we'll get the price action since the lows. And every time we've spoken about LivePerson, it's been contained within this channel. And you've had it at these areas in around 45 cents. That was the entry we said would be absolutely brilliant. You had this retest of 50, and this was the big move. Everybody was really excited. Since there's been a period of consolidation, but it's in a linear trend to the top side, and a lot of people have made a lot of different bobberoonies on the journey. So you've got this price action with a 50 simple going through a 200 period moving average. That's very positive. Looking left, you can see that there's a 236 from this high to this breakdown, and that's a Fibonacci retracement. It speaks about price moving when it does go back against that trend, how to measure the strength of the distance. The strength also and the distance measured along the x-axis with a time-based Fibonacci zone, you can see in the green and the orange vertical lines. Now, at each of these areas, or thereabouts approximately, you've seen the biggest moves on the chart. Where you see these purple vertical lines, you can see the RSI has been in it around where you find it now, the bearish control zone. So that speaks to the potential opportunity. The trend, my friends, is clear. It's pushing to the top side, even though all of that is within a retracement of a move down again. The 236 has been exceeded. This point, price action came up and pushed very high towards a golden pocket, and within a gap, it got a rejection at that on the body close. This golden pocket, this 0.065 Fibonacci retracement. Subsequently, it's come back down again. Hasn't got to the 236 there, but if we do check in and see what has happened, well, it slipped below the 200 period moving average. You had earnings post-market. There was a degree of volatility, and then today, volume came in at 3.42 million, which is, 33%, 50% more than people might have anticipated based on the previous 20 days volume. So seeing a little bit of an uptick there after an earnings event where risk on advance, low liquidity when the earnings were released, and so price action putting in a bit of a question mark here with this doji candle. Now, it's got a little bit of a larger body than you might suggest, but they've got a nice ratio with your wicks to your body overall, so a little bit of indecision there. Now, there's also, looking left, a trend line that comes in around these prior lows. I've got the extension on this channel, and within that, you can see that if price was come anywhere down, put in an 886 retracement from the local high to where it left that move to the top side. 886 retracement would be a higher low than looking left on the trend. It could come down and test in around 75 cents, which would be that 236, and still wouldn't be breaking the previous low. And it could even do that slightly further, be bullishly divergent, and you could speak to continuation divergence potentially if it starts looking continuation, looking at confirm it. Is it going to break? Is it going to be a strong enough move to go back and confirm top side of that channel? You could be building in lots of different trades, and we've got some of them set up to the right for you. So if it was that price action come into these levels, you've got the best possible place for an entry and a stop perhaps is in around that 75 cents. A lot of people will be taking it because they're planning on 85 cents being the best, which might be as low as it goes. Now, none of these might happen because it's already an extreme bargain, and we outlined that it's an indecision on this candle. Also, there's a gap to the top side, right? So price action could easily go and close that, catch a lot of people out, and then come here, test this area again. So you're going to have to bear that in mind. All of these potential risks to your position before you open it, which will define how you probability of success in those circumstances. And looking right, we can see what targets you might look to, which also helps with that process. The 200 period moving average, obviously important. You can see the 236 from this move would come in pretty much around that level if you were to take it from one of the local areas here, and we'll do that just briefly because we're not down the time frames yet. Just take off that, drop it in here. There's your 236 in around that 200 period moving average. So you can see there's a degree of resistance at that level, and we'll call it this purple horizontal at 1.04. If it breaks that, you've got the candle closes in that previous move at 1.09 and the wick highs at 111 to 112. All of that's going to be extremely difficult to break on the first pass, especially if it doesn't do another test of where it's leaving in advance of that. So if that's happening, you've got this low opportunity here, low levels, and then potentially if price breaks to the top side, you can also follow it in a trending move. And if you get the trend right, you enter at the right time, then probabilities are on your side. And at this point, if it does break up and break through those wick highs, you'll be looking at a trend 50 simple period moving average with a positive slope, positive splay, positive orientation with price action heading in that direction would be really great to see, because you'd be breaking a downward sloping diagonal, which you'd have to pay attention to, but there it is. Take it from the wick highs, go across the top of these body closes, and you go through that to meet the 50 simple. If you take it across and you meet wick highs across here, maybe you'd meet it at the same time. All of that, an impulse move have to be a really strong recovery. We're looking at extreme volume coming in. There is no events. Risk is back off again, like on. You know, people are thinking these are the opportunities. If SPY is going to turn around, then there's going to be huge opportunities in LivePerson and whatnot. Now, this is already at a 200 period moving average. So the trade I've got will include moving my stop towards that area, because I don't want to get taken out of something where I've already got money. My money, and I can take it if I want it. There's a top to the top side, a little bit of a gap. You have to be cognizant of these things. There's also a time-based Fibonacci that spoke about the potential for volatility as it came across this area. And if price does push back to the top side, 5809, 5811, you'd be looking at come in, close the previous gap, and you'd be testing the 200 period moving average. Golden pocket retracement, so you don't think it's going to go through all this in one brief spell sweep. No, very much orientated to the downside. The trend is down 50 simple below 200 period moving average, followed with a stop in profit. At this point, you'd probably be looking for price to not break above these horizontals, go towards that gap. Anywhere in there would be a good place to put a stop. So that's what we're looking at. Isn't that very much obviously what you would be thinking too? Yes, it is. Cryptocurrency, big updates here, reaction on Bitcoin. All of it is following along the weekly and daily trend lines with the support and resistance that we marked out on the Discord and chatted about in advance, and brilliant work there from the team. We've been covering everything from the trend and momentum and all the volatility, volume at different areas, and all how to confirm those moves. Brilliant work from you guys. Thank you very much. I would name you, but I'd forget people. Microsoft, that trade opportunity, offering up continuation if the trend breaks on SPY. So we're short on SPY to cover along on Microsoft, but both of them working out in our favor. We've got both of our stops in profit. That's the best way to be as a trader. All of that happening as risk was off on LPSN. It's now back on again. I'm full whack into that thing. Don't even get me started, right? Honestly. And I'm not going to. Then there you've got Bitcoin, where you're going to get brilliant updates, and you would have got amazing ones if you were watching the Rocky Outcrop show yesterday. So that's the heat map. Everything got its head kicked in, but there's huge opportunity in that head, right? And especially now it's all been mushy and sorted out for you, right? So you don't even have to do any of the hard work yourself. Isn't that right? Because you've been watching TradeSpotting. Isn't this a brilliant show? Thank you very much for watching. Anything you want me to look at? What about VIX? It broke out of this consolidation pattern. It came back and tested its previous highs. It's coming up now, bearishly divergent. If you're looking for an opportunity to go long, VIX confirms that with regards to volatility. 50 simple through the 200 period moving average. And if you were to look at that, you might say that this would need to be supported with stronger picture on there. We're not seeing that. Daily time frame, you can see it's inordinate to find it at these levels without a reaction, and that's obviously true to say about SPY at a 200 period moving average on that 24-hour time frame. Well, it's very difficult to argue that. I should be winning. I should be easily winning, right? Bounce at 200 period moving average, should easily be winning 200 period moving average, easily winning 200 period. winning. 200 period moving average, winning, right? Easily, right? Put that short position back, right? Because it's already in profit. And then the profit, stop loss, is going to follow it all the way down. It's going to follow it all the way down. So it is. And then the 15-minute time frame, well, it's not showing up because like that's a much clearer, nicer picture to look at as it is, isn't it? So what are we thinking? Tesla, look at this. How much money could you have made since we said it's in a head and shoulders, going to reverse. You've got the second information, it'll break down. You had your measured move, you had your gap there, break below, managed to push up and only test what was a previous support line. So support turned into resistance, price action broke down. Tesla absolutely getting its head kicked in. So it's down 46% from the highs. That's pretty bad. If we talk about it since say 15th of February in around those areas, Tesla is down 28%. That's pretty bad. Putting in LivePerson in context, if we take it from the 15th of February, see how much it's down. Remember Tesla, right? Now the guy in charge is clearly got access and making, right, just putting it in context, it's a very similar picture, isn't it? It's a very similar picture. It's not actually all that bad. And if we put it, comparing it to something in its own wheelhouse, right? Which is something as people on the channel made an awful lot of money with, an awful lot of money. So they did. Right now, you're looking at this from whenever it is, 15th of February. You can see this clearly got absolutely shafted. Where's 15th of February? There it is. Oof. So yeah, it's down 60%, right? So twice the dip that LivePerson's had, which has had to go through earnings. It's obviously not as bad as the emotional reaction that some people have been having. No, they haven't been having it in our gang because we know what it is, what we're doing, what we're trading. Also, by the way, on LivePerson, now that we're down here, this is a deep crab. It offers up a trading opportunity with a high probability. Your stop and your entry also confirmed with the support and resistance and analysis we did earlier. And the target on this thing would be up around 196. So there's an amazing trade with a high probability. Risk reward ratio absolutely through the fucking roof. That thing, if it comes back to the top side, will be also testing the top side of that previous trend, and you only get so many tests of that before it breaks, and it means you've only got so many opportunities left to buy a LivePerson. I can tell you there's only so much of the thing. The market cap at the minute, 83.97 million. It doesn't ask that much of a big deal to come in and look at that thing, because you've got the heat map. You can see that a couple of different things made a couple of different moves. One of them, CRM, down 2%. That's not particularly fantastic, is it? If that's also in LivePerson's wheelhouse. So 2% on something which market cap is 273 billion. Well, how many LivePersons could you have bought in its decline from the 15th of February when it was, whoops, that's not the price it was, when it was, right, accuracy is important, but I haven't been paying attention here. 15% off a market cap, which has resulted in the current total 273 billion. Well, there's a number of LivePersons you could have bought there, right? And now, I'm not saying who's going to win in a fight between this horse and this other horse, right? I'm saying what's the best opportunity for you as a trader? And anywho, it's hit that like button. That's what it's to do. You should hit that like button. You should give it a good, caressing, lovely hug and kiss and make yourself familiar with it, right? Because we're going places. You and that leg button, they're going places. What are we at in that goal? 3 out of 50. Bloody hell, that's amazing. Glad to see you, Crazy Hurricane, yesterday. Thank you very much, Barry. I appreciate that. Yes, this is great, wasn't it? And vis-a-vis, what a legend. Thank you for every update, Jamie. Thank you for every single time you help Lisa. You make every video better. We've got such a brilliant team here. Lisa, right at the top 3 there. Thank Lisa for everything she does. Chapters, summaries. You can get educational value just from reading the chapters of these videos. You can skip to the exact point that'll help you most. And, you know, everybody appreciates that little bit of extra help, clarity, when you're learning something new or trying to become an expert. So thank you very much. Wait, Spot's doing this live. Yes, this is all live. Boom, boom, boom. Isn't it amazing? How can you do that live? How does he do it? The tip of the tongue. Tip of the tongue. So we're looking at LivePerson, we're talking about the markets. We started on SPY, and oh my goodness gracious me, it should be easy. It should be easy. You should be able to do these shows live yourself now. I'm so bloody good at them myself. I could do it in my sleep. In his sleep. In his sleep. In his sleep. Where am I? What's this? This is this thing. That's the show. It's going quite well there, I see. Great. Everybody, if you're watching, because 69 current viewers. Well, that's worth celebrating, isn't it? I'm delighted. And You let me know if you've had a good time. Hit the like button. If you're watching this show later, leave a comment. Thank you very much for watching. With those US markets in free fall, we covered the Dow 400 points down. The NASDAQ itself nose diving. Correction territory. I use that terminology because Rocky talked about corrections and the definitions that we use as traders. That parlance so important. Tech stocks, they had their head kicked in. Do you remember that? It wasn't too alliterative. I thought the shocking nature of the sentence changing from such beautiful alliteration to, you know, tricordant N might be a little bit disturbing. Did it wake you up a little? Our mum! Our mum! And just when you thought AI, that lovely golden goose, right? What about Marvel? We didn't talk about Broadcom. Do you want it? Do you want it? Broadcom. There they are. That would just save me so much time. Wouldn't it just butter? Well, earnings came out. Look at that for a reaction. Not bad. Not bad. So it's hard to bet against Broadcom. If you are to do it, then entering a downward sloping diagonal trend line on the very least the 4-hour time frame as it's breaking through support is potentially the time to do that. Coming up and testing the 50 simple there, 200 period moving average, closing below it. Technical analysis, it can really help. It can really help. What about GameStop? GameStop, here was the risk management. Now, clearly, we were talking about covered calls, so even if you'd wanted to, you couldn't have done it post-market. This was the opportunity available to you. Look at this for a clean chart. And what about that for a trade? So this was the time to sell the covered call, which worked out very well. Here was where that trade would have ended up being, well, questionable, right? But, you know, your risk was already managed because you had the long side of the trade. And this trade was crafted for this audience, not to exploit the best moves on GameStop, but to help everybody who's trading GameStop make the most of that opportunity at all times. So you had this covered call strategy, had this entry. It ended up being really good. Your 50 simple went through 200 period moving average. Price action followed it. And you've had this horrible, horrible resistance on momentum. That picture hasn't changed. Until such times as this trend line's gone, I wouldn't expect this trend line to go anywhere, right? Because it started later, it got an awful lot of a build up there in terms of the divergence it was putting in that signature. A lot of time, burn that off, take a lot of time. That's, you know, 4-hour time frame. 50 has gone through the 200 period moving average. You got the daily time frame though on GameStop, spread it out, still very clean. 200 period moving average up here, just above price action. 50 simple there, positive splay, not a positive slope. Price action, you know, puts the third. Two negatives into that 3, right? So if it's paper, scissors, stones, GameStop, you're keeping that short position, right? Well, it's effectively a cover, right? So shut up if anyone's got a problem. You're stupid, right? So that's what we're looking at. This huge opportunity because it's at this low ebb. Confirmed it with the over broader markets. We talked about the volatility that was there. We talked about this change. Also, short position, right? It's because you got to cover your risk, right? That's what this is all about. That's what those fucking contracts are for. Anyway, whatever. So, you know, I've got a mansion. They tell me it's nice. What else is up over here in the chat box? Yeah. How many LivePersons could you buy in that 2% drop? Did we get an answer? True. Stuck on the island. No doubt. Just catching on. Are you okay? Tesla, are you okay? Tesla is struggling. Struggle Street. Okay, I don't think we missed anything. I think we covered everything. So I'd like to celebrate with you that fantastic achievement, the show tonight. Hit that like button, leave a comment, share this. I'm sure it'll be useful. And people will know who and what it is you watch, because it isn't just like all the typical gestalt understanding others would have when you say you watch somebody on the internet talk about stocks. It's actually really interesting, fun show, and everybody's welcome. Thank you very much for watching.